Hello everybody, you know me. Okay, no you don't, but you know who I am. I am Issa J, your Smark Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Champion of picking things, Issa J. And alongside me as always
is the former champion, Liam Landry. You know, we went and lost that Survivor Series, a very, I want to say drag out brawl, but like one where both of us looked pretty bad.
Yes. Boom.
It was like you know, maybe like a 3-5 victory in a football game, American football game.
It was a little bit better than that. A little bit better than that.
It didn't end up feeling that better.
I know. It was an interesting one to say the least. But yeah, we are back for Shooting with the Smarky Family, our podcast. It is it's episode 55. Who would have thought we'd been able to make it all the way this far, and hopefully keep on going. Yeah, we'll talk about things that's going to happen in coming weeks at the end of the episode. But as always, like we like to start off. How was your week for the viewers at home?
It was okay. I mean, you know, Thanksgiving was good and all.
That's good.
Not playing too much. How about you?
Yeah, it was good. Got to spend time with family, play some games, get halfway through BoJack season 6. So it was a nice week. Busy before and after Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving was a nice little break.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows how I was moving because I've said it on the cameras already. All I have left to do is organize my bookshelves, and I'm completely settled in. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And
as always, like we have been doing for the last couple months, actually, we are watching a wrestling show, and we're going to be watching a couple wrestling shows while the podcast is going on. So we'll give you our reactions to some wrestling matches, as well as talk about the news like we normally do. At the moment, it is AEW Dark episode 7, I believe. 7 or 8, I can't really remember which one. However, yeah, it's AEW Dark. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's get started. We go on to our first segment, news outside the WWE.
And it exactly how it sounds, where we talk about all the goings on in wrestling that is not associated with the WWE.
Yep, but anyways, so we can go for first one for Impact Wrestling. Well, we would love to be able to talk about, yes, that a simple episode of that had a nice theme of a throwback episode where it was almost it almost seemed like a lot like what was that on the WWE Network? You ever seen that? Where they had the ones where it was like a comedy based show where the wrestlers pretend to be in like an old timey 80s. You know,
oh yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know,
Southpaw Wrestling?
Yeah, Southpaw Wrestling.
Boom.
You know, it almost seemed like a kind of thing like that where it would have just been a very fun wrestling show for holiday week. But it doesn't seem to be, you know, with controversy as well as and it's not necessarily known if it was this night or another night, but it would make sense because of the conditions it was in. But Trish Parker, better known as Jordan Grace, came and said on Twitter that the Sandman had approached 4 women, and she was in a part of an 8-person tag with a team of 4 women in the main event here. Approached 4 women which includes her, that were going to be in the main event, and said that it was wrong for them to be in the main event, and that any male wrestler with any sort of experience would agree. And you know, saying that in December 2019, which just makes, you know, Sandman seems so outdated and for the times. It's almost like he was like, what's that? Jim Cornette's out of business. Someone's got to take that role. Can't just let that go without just can't have people just go and have a peaceful, non hot take wrestling. You got to have some sort of controversy.
Right. Yeah, this is the Shayna video I was telling you about. But it was just really upsetting to hear that from Sandman, but not all that surprising, which is, again, it's really sad to say, but yeah. I mean, what can you really say when it comes to a man who looks like he's in that mindset of all those Jim Cornettes and others?
To be fair, I would also say Jim Cornette probably hates Sandman.
Yeah, probably.
But it definitely shows he's very outdated mentally. I mean, if you look back at ECW, they didn't have the best relationship with female wrestlers.
Right.
I'll have them both. One comes to mind, and the other just larger sexualization of women and objectification of them. So it's very outdated mindset. The best thing we can hope for is maybe just that's just like in online work, and hopefully just maybe not real, and could just be to cause heat between them for a match later down the road. But if it is real, then it's very upsetting to see someone. And I said, and while I will say that she hasn't clarified for that, but like I said, it would be the most logical thing because they were 4 women in the main event there, and of course Sandman would be there because of the Impact event. It's the most logical idea there. That's it. Very upsetting. They did win the main event. The
I think it's
Rough
her.
Riders, I believe they call themselves.
It's her, Tessa Blanchard, and 2 other women that I do not know the names to.
Yes, I don't know Impact roster that well. I've looked at the clips from it. I've seen them before, but I can't remember their names. I'm not really good with names, as I see them very often. I think I've seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen them in matches before, but I'm just not good with names.
Yeah. And I saw their faces, and for me, they didn't look all that recognizable. But yeah, I'd actually have to go and do a little bit more research. But yeah, let's not give this kind of negativity too much credence. But my final thoughts are, the women are doing more and more to prove that they're more than just a sexual object or a hair-pulling, bras and panties kind of wrestler. They're proper wrestlers with really great talent. And one of my favorites in AEW right now, Big Swole, is someone, she's really young, and if she keeps on going the way she's going, she's going to be a breakout star. But it is ridiculous to think that she couldn't main event in a promotion that has both men and women. So it's just ridiculous. Do you have any more final thoughts?
No, just want to help promote the women and say that there's definitely women that deserve main event. Especially when the storyline's right for it. I've sometimes felt in the past WWE's put women in the main event to put women in the main event, but they've also done it because it was the right storyline for it. And that they did have the most heat behind it, and whatever has the most heat behind it should go on last. When it comes to major championships, and it doesn't diminish the men's championship to go on second to the women's because they're supposed to both be the top of their field.
Right.
It's not like a U.S. title on top of the men's, world title or something like that. That'd be something weirder, but yeah. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Go on to our next story.
All right, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Tag League updates or the other one.
Give me a second to pull up the Tag League.
All right, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And it was.
What was the other one? Oh, we can.
You talk
Yeah,
about
we'll talk about the other one right quick. There was a new debut this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. It was Blade, Butcher, and Bunny, which is Allie in a bunny mask. But yeah, that was. It did not go over well. From all the reviews and reactions that I saw from it, the crowd was chanting, "Who are you?" which is never a good sign. Even though they attacked Cody, he's not the babyface. He doesn't have that credence like a John Cena, where it's like, oh my gosh, who are these people attacking this massive star? Yes, he's really good, but AEW is not as old as when John Cena was attacked by the NXT Nexus guys. Even though people like me who didn't watch NXT, it was still John Cena's a massive, massive name. It would make more sense if it was Chris Jericho that got attacked or someone else, where it's just like where it has that more of a shock value. But I don't know anything about Butcher or Blade whatsoever, and apparently they're more I think Memphis area wrestlers, and they were in Chicago, which really did not go over very well. So yeah, it was just a bad debut. Not necessarily bad in execution, but just bad in how it was thought out. Wardlow had a few packages before he debuted where people could recognize him. Maybe they should have done something like that, but it was exactly like Dark Order, where the lights go out and they're attacking the best friends, and everyone in the arena is just like, we don't know who they are, so this isn't very impactful for us. But that's my thoughts on it all. What about yours?
To be fair with that, you make that point, but that's not like you're always going to know everyone, especially if you're not in tune with the indies. I don't remember people going like, who are you to the Shields when they first came out, that even though I never knew who Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, or Roman Reigns was. Right.
But again, to that point, no one really knew who they were unless you were really paying attention to NXT at the time. The main difference is, again, they are attacking like this massive, massive name, and they have their faces covered throughout the whole thing, and they're just destroying everything. Whereas Blade, Bunny, and actually Bunny didn't do anything. She just walked out at the end.
It's there to bring in early heat for them to maybe try to figure out who is the people behind it. I feel like sometimes in the instant media age that we have, it's an instant gratification. It's like not who is this people. Who are these people? I want to find out next week, and as later on let the mystery grow. It's just like I want to know now. And it's like, I mean, should you know now? Would them saying it beforehand just ruin the mystique of it? I mean, we can even go and say there's even other points, because like people say that all the time about AEW, but it's like, well, how does NXT debut a new person? Putting them in the crowd and having them wave to people. It's like there's not a lot of vignettes in NXT, not a lot of just early promos. It's a lot of times come out crowd, then come out and have a match, and then it just grows with that. So it's like you gotta give time to grow, and I mean, also it's like it feels like it's never been to indie events where you have no background history on nearly anyone in there. It's just random people, and it's like you gotta wait and allow people to make a name for themselves. You have to have some sort of mystery to come up with. I remember when you talked about factions before, you had talked about a completely masked faction that would come out and attack. it would of course lead to a lot of mysteries and a lot of who are you chants in today's world. If you think about it, you still need some type of mystery to grow upon. They can do attacks and do more attacks, and then have a sit-down interview where they explain the reasons behind their attacks and allow it to actually grow naturally. So I think you just have to wait and allow the build to come naturally.
So at least you have a more optimistic take on it.
Yeah.
But that's good. But yeah, we very much welcome the new tag team because there's only like 5 really big tag teams at the minute, and we definitely need not only the women's division and the singles division to grow, but the tag team as well, because we don't want to see the same 5 matches over and over again.
Yeah.
So welcome to AEW, Butcher and Blade, and Bunny.
Also thinking 2 other ones. Undertaker was announced beforehand that there's going to be a new mystery guy, but they didn't really explain anything about it. And that's a character that needs a lot of explanation. To the point where people are still confused about exactly what is he. You have John Cena that basically debuted by answering Kurt Angle's things, come out and say ruthless aggression.
Ruthless aggression.
There's a lot of guys who debuted without vignettes and starting beforehand and would have been mostly unknown to the crowd, but that's why they give an opportunity to attack or have matches so that they can be noticed by the crowd and people can just go back and say, who are those? I want to see more of them. So you have them come back out, do more attacks on more people, and then they can cut a promo or vignette explaining their reasoning behind it. Much like I said, much like the Shield did, come out early attacks, then start doing vignettes and promos explaining the reason behind their attacks.
That's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting where they go from here with Butcher and Blade. Ready for the final piece of news that we have today?
We're gonna have the World Tag League updates. We'll start off with your leaders at 18 points, Evil and Sonata.
Yay!
Followed by the guys at 16 points, the teams at 16 points, Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi, Tama Tonga and Tanya Loa at 16 points, Juice Robinson, Dave Finlay, and finally in the 16-point category, Toru Yano and Colt Cabana. Then for 14 points, we have Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer, and Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nicholas. Then at 10 points, we have Kenta and Yojiro Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi, and now Taribo. And also it was actually Junior Taichi. I didn't see him at 10 points. So that's all the guys at 10 points. At 8 points, we have one team, Hiroshi Tenza, and Satoshi Kojima. Yeah, I always struggle looking at that one. I just gotta remember the game developer, Kojima.
Right. Have you played Death Stranding yet?
No, I haven't. Then for the 6-point group, we have Ballot Fale and Chase Owens, and Togi Makabe, and Tamaoki Hanma. And then for 4 points, we have Hiroki Goto and Carl Fredericks, and Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toa Hanora. And then finally at the bottom with 2 points, Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. So yes, that rounds it off. So Evil and Sonata with a slight lead, but still possible, I guess, for a comeback from some of the other teams in 16. But it looks like they may come away with the victory for the World Tag League.
L.I.J. represent.
Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa has made a good comeback.
Because they were looking pretty dicey for a minute.
Yeah, very early on, very dicey. Then they started moving up a little bit. Then I got near the top. Toru Yano and Colt Cabana did a lot better than expected. 8-3 record overall at 16 points. That's very good. Suzuki and Archer, 7-3 record. It was pretty respectable. Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nicholas did better than I thought. Because sometimes they bring in foreigners to, or I should say Gaijin, to kind of act as the fall guys. They don't tend to do super well and stuff like the G1 or Best of the Super Juniors as much as local, but I think they're doing pretty strong there with 7-5. At the lower end there, Yuji and Manabu, that's pretty obvious. They're actually much older guys. I'm sure the oldest guys in there. Yuji, former IWGP heavyweight champion. So they're mostly there for nostalgic purposes and helping younger people by taking falls.
Yeah.
They either worked with each other against some of the other older guys, or they worked with a lot of the young lions. I believe they even are like part of the trainers for the young lions as well. If
That's
I believe
cool.
so. I definitely know in the game, the Fire Pro Wrestling involved in New Japan, they're very in the storyline, especially Yuji Nagata is very in their storyline as like a trainer. But they work a lot with young lions and teams and all. So they're mostly there, like I said, to help put people over. Goto doing surprisingly low, but I guess they didn't really have a Cole Fredericks. I don't know if that's maybe a guy from ROH or even Rev Pro. So maybe that kind of explains it. Tanahashi also doing quite low, but someone has to be on the bottom there, and he's not really a tag specialist, I guess you can say, like some of the other people in here. And we're also working with a guy who doesn't work always with Toa. I don't see them. They're not like always together on tag team matches for regular shows. So it kind of makes sense for them to be on the lower end. So it kind of shaped up to be pretty logical. The only one, like I said, surprising was Yano and Cabana. I didn't think they were going to do as well as they were. But yeah, overall, the top three make a lot of sense. Or, no, the top four, I should actually say. Evil Sonata, Ishii, Yoshihashi, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, Juice Robinson, and David Finlay. All make a lot of sense. They should top there. But it's probably going to be pulling away with Evil and Sonata.
Yeah.
Which, I haven't looked it up, but I would be sure that wasn't their first World Tag League Championship.
I'm pretty sure they've gotten one before.
Very prestigious guys. Yeah. Now the real question is Shingo Takagi going to drop back in weight so that he can be in the Junior Tag League as well, or is Bushi going to have to try to find someone from CMLL that's within the weight class to try to help him out? Because we know I'm blanking on his name. Hiromu Takahashi. He's not coming back until Wrestle Kingdom. So they don't want him to. They definitely wouldn't want him to be into a tournament before that. So who knows? They probably can find at least someone from CMLL so that they can have some LIJ representation in Junior Tag League. But I also have to take a guess from there. Judging by it, it'd either be maybe a tag team with Will Ospreay and probably Eagles, because Will Ospreay's been doing so well, or maybe go back to another Victory Push show. But that's still down the line. We're not really close to junior tag team times now.
Yeah, that's in the spring, I think, right? Because G1 is the summer.
G1's the summer, but I think it's pretty close after this one.
Okay.
I think it follows pretty closely after this one. I think because next spring you have the J Cup in the spring.
The J Cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, also thinking about it, a few weeks back they announced Super J Cup for Rev Pro in England. I know Amazing Red is going to be in there, and some other high flying talents. We get to watch if they get to put that up onto the New Japan World eventually, because I think it has to go on like Rev Pro's network first, then it'll go to New Japan. But we should probably get the chance to check that out when it does. It sounds like some great talent, but no Ospreay, surprisingly. by as much as he's been doing this
That
year.
is surprising. I guess they're gonna just.
Just thought it would be like in every tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's like G1, Best of Super Junior, Super J Cup, Mae Young Classic 3.
But yeah, they're probably trying to transition him to heavyweight completely. But I think the World Tag League should be coming to an end very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys aware of who ends up taking it all.
I still feel he's probably going to be the junior tag team league. You were saying transitioning to more heavyweight. I think he's still going to be in this junior tag team.
Oh, okay.
Because they're making a thing of him and Robbie Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, I think it's probably going to be LIJ taking it.
Mm-hmm.
As they just kind of seem the favorites right now, and especially since they didn't start off at the top, they rose to it. That's a good storytelling point for New Japan. They kind of like that type of story, either like someone dominating throughout or coming back from behind. It's very normal point for them, like for G1s and stuff.
So yeah, that should be the next round of New Japan tournaments should be really, really fun. Can't wait to see what happens. Any more news outside the WWE you can think of?
No, not any super big ones, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I know in the latest rankings, I know John Moxley is #1 contender for AEW.
I saw that. I think Hikaru Shida is #1 for the women's.
For women.
And for the tag team, it is Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah. But
Proud and powerful.
Don't think there's too much more
Mm-hmm.
new information things. Yeah, don't.
Alright, well, let's move on to the next segment of the show. It is news inside of the WWE. It's exactly like the last one. However, it is primarily WWE related. And let's start off with the negative first to get that out of the way. I know it's probably the bigger news article. However, it's not the most fun. So what happened is Mauro Ranallo was on commentary at War Games, and apparently after a tweet sent out from Corey Graves, he as in Mauro Ranallo ended up deleting his Twitter. He missed Survivor Series as well as this past episode of NXT. And people are equating all of that and his mental illness to being triggered by the tweet from Corey Graves. Now, the tweet from Corey Graves said that there's also Beth Phoenix and Nigel well, he didn't actually out their names. He said, we have a former Ring of Honor champion and a WWE Hall of Famer, but we can't get any of their input. Which
yeah, you're saying like you basically wouldn't be able to tell, if like he was just saying like you may not been able to tell, but there is a WWE Hall of Famer and a former ROH World Heavyweight Champion
on commentary for,
which is gonna be like the closest he ever comes to mentioning ROH.
Right. But yeah,
if anything, that's what's gonna get penalized by WWE. It's like how dare you mention another company.
Exactly. Because they're petty. But yeah, it is a shame that he would go out and have an attack like that to a man that suffers from mental illness, who also had a rough time with JBL. But there are also speculations that Mauro Ranallo was not actually triggered by this, that he's been declining, and either this set him over the edge or he didn't even see it. We don't know. We won't know until we hear from Mauro Ranallo. But the speculation is that Corey Graves, when he sent out this tweet. Mauro Ranallo took it to heart and just collapsed mentally. So if that is the case, then Corey Graves was in the wrong here completely, and he needs to go privately to Mauro Ranallo, and they need to talk it out, or if not privately, with Triple H or someone in that higher ilk of the company. But yeah, it's a tough one. The mental health is not an easy topic, and not so much an easy topic to talk about, but an easy topic to get to the meat of. Psychology and everything to do with your mind is one of the hardest things to really grasp. We just wish the best to Mauro Ranallo completely. Any thoughts on your side?
Yeah, I don't know. It probably would have been worded better for more constructive criticism. Because I mean, I feel that is legitimate criticism for Mauro Ranallo. I know he may have had some history of being a solo caster for like how many fights, so he may have had to take over everything. But it probably should be said that he should, tone down and allow other people to get more words and worded, because it definitely felt like that listening to him on the takeover. So I think it's right there, but maybe you could have been worded more constructively.
And also, maybe not so much on Twitter. Like, if they talked about it beforehand and he was okay with it, then that's okay. But not put it out so publicly. Talk about it in private. Like, give constructive criticism in private, so that way a person can actually grow with it instead of feeling like it's a personal attack. Because being someone who suffers with not feeling like you're good enough, and someone just outright says it right at you, or for the public to hear, instead of coming to you and giving constructive criticism, sucks. So yeah, that I feel for Mauro Ranallo. I'm pretty sure Francesca and I noted that while we were watching War Games. Like, wow, that guy really talks a lot. But also funny, my dad, when he was watching it with us, was like, "Wow, is that that Shield member's wife?" I was like, "No, Dad, that's Edge's wife." "Oh, wow, they sound so much alike," which is funny. But anyways, back on point. Mauro Ranallo, we hope the best for you, obviously, and
and also to the point when you were saying there is a lot of speculation, because it's saying beforehand that he was getting upset and all, so this could have been triggered. But also, with my experience with depression and how it comes in waves, it's not normally necessarily triggered by things. It's just kind of it's a mental thing. It's not necessarily like that's the whole problem where it's not, you can't get over stuff, because it's not necessarily something to get over with. It's not just being sad about something, it's being depressed. It's a medical issue. So a lot of times it can be everything's fine and you just kind of come up with a wave. So we don't know when it is, we don't know what he saw. So it could have just been a natural occurrence going to him. And judging by a lot of people's reactions, it probably is, because it doesn't seem like WWE is looking at it as an issue of bullying or Corey Graves himself. I know he's gone and issued an apology for it, but I mean, there was a lot of backlash. I mean, we know what happened with JBL. He had to step down temporarily for it, so it's not like they wouldn't do something the same for Corey Graves if it was that. So it could have just, for all we know, been something that was already coming, that he was just going to be in a depressive spell, and it wasn't going to be avoidable, and maybe he was already in a depressive spell and it's just made it worse. So there's a lot of factors in there, and we don't really know until we know from Mauro himself. We can only ever speculate, and that doesn't get you anywhere.
we just hope the best for not only Morrow but even Corey Graves. We don't want to see him because he has a good thing going right now, and we don't want to see him screw it all up either. That's why we don't drink at all. We stay away from substances. But anyways,
we also stay away from female coworkers while going through separation. That's
right.
Another thing, like to the Jim Cornette thing.
That's supposed to happen.
He doesn't let himself to a lot of. He doesn't lend himself to a lot of, sympathy or allowing people to take it in different manners. So, yeah. So that's that part right there. We go into another news item, one that may be more better.
Yes, hopefully a lot better. We had 3 returns to SmackDown this Friday. First, we had everyone's favorite small bundle of joy.
Sheamus.
Yeah, it's not where I was going with that, but yes, we'll just roll with it. Sheamus is back. He made a. And it's people are speculating he's going to be the warrior, the Celtic warrior Sheamus again, not the Mohawk the Bar anymore, because he no longer has the Mohawk. He has his hair pointed up. So Sheamus is coming back. It looks like he's not going to be in anything with Sami, Shinsuke, or Cesaro, but that can change rapidly. We could have, what do you call those people again? Cesaro was a part of it the first time.
You talking about League of Nations?
Yes, we could have League of Nations 2.0.
I really hope they don't put him in there because it's just going to be another League of Nations.
Right. At least one of them's champion. I don't even know if one of them was champion the first time around. But but Sheamus is back.
Well, Sheamus became champion during League of Nations days.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly don't. I wasn't watching very much.
Got that run, to be fair. Anyways, so we had Sheamus return, but and any other returns?
Yes, another really big return. My mom's favorite wrestler, Elias, is back. He strummed his guitar and he made a song about Drake Maverick being a creep. Why he's trying to get Dana Brooke to kiss him with mistletoe while he's married to someone we've seen on the product quite a bit.
So Drake Maverick was trying to get Dana Brooke to?
Yes.
Is that to have an angle between Drake Maverick and Batista?
I don't know. Pretty sure Batista said he was retired, he's done, but I just don't know.
Because they seem to be flirting hard on Twitter.
Right?
Yes.
But anyways, that happened. But Elias came back. He did a song. So it's cool to see him back.
They were like, the Rusev thing is going well for us. Let's do it, but in reverse.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we had, the thing is, I think Elias is a underappreciated, underrated star. His match against Seth Rollins was actually amazing, and he can move really quick and nimble in the ring. So I would love to see him actually get a proper push this time. Who knows? We'll see. And our final return, and one of the best women's wrestlers of all time, it is Alexa Bliss. She is back from injury. She attacked Fire and Desire when Nikki Cross was getting beat down. So it's great to see her back as well. She has been having a lot of health scares with concussions and broken whatever the crud that. Because not only did I think both times it was because of Ronda Rousey this past year and a half or something, where she got landed on her head by Ronda Rousey and then something else happened.
I tried not to say anything officially, but it was 2 times where she got landed on her head by Ronda Rousey.
Okay, that's what it was.
And then then both times followed with her taking time off.
Right.
So I didn't want to say it was directly Ronda.
This past time she was with she was doing something with the Kabuki Warriors when she had to take a little bit of time off. So it's probably we don't want to actually say it was Ronda's fault because we don't know. However,
it was just very coincidental.
Very much so.
Yeah. So that's good. See her back. It was a great connection between Little Miss Bliss and the Sex Pod.
Now they really need to just have their team name be Little Miss Sex Pots, because that would be funny as heck.
Or someone teach Nikki Cross what sex pot means.
Yeah, that's good too.
Maybe it was tap out sorority mess up. Did you actually hear the story? It was said that Paige told them what that meant. Like when they first pitched it, and Paige was like, "No, it's a porn thing," and then he didn't listen, and then he found out that it was a porn thing, and then he had to change it.
That's funny.
Yeah. As listen to Paige. Just trust her.
Right.
So Little Miss Sex Pods come back, possibly go back in there for tag team gold as long as the Kabuki Boys are past Charlotte.
They are going to be in a fatal 4-way match for Starrcade whenever that is.
Yeah. So.
I don't know all the teams involved other than them two and Kabuki Warriors, but I can speculate it's either going to be Charlotte and Natalya or Charlotte and Becky if her tweet really didn't go over well. And probably the Iconics.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Let's just hope the concept is that Charlotte doesn't beat the Kabuki Warriors on a 2-on-1 handicap match coming up.
Right?
Yes.
Is that match actually happening?
Yeah, there's a 2-on-1 handicap match coming up because of the interference between.
That's so
Charlotte
sad because you know she's gonna win.
Yeah.
That
that means they would have two women in that match that literally defeated the tag team champs on one-on-one pieces. Well, if Bailey's in there as well, because I remember Bailey defeating Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross by herself, and then Charlotte defeating might defeat the Kabuki Warriors by herself.
Yeah,
They're really booking them strong.
Yeah. If by strong you mean horribly weak.
How about we go into some other positive news right now? We can go into a backstage report that is making its rounds. That seemingly has credibility behind it from what we've seen out there, and is that Vince McMahon finally likes some guy from NXT, and it is bask in his glory, Keith Lee.
I've heard about this, yes, and I think he's also liking Shayna Baszler as well, which is really good to hear.
As you can tell, Keith Lee giving him the last man on his team. That was the real big thing for him, and a real big credibility from Roman Reigns. So that's why I said it's a very credible rumor that Vince McMahon is a big fan of Keith Lee. I was kind of surprised because I still looked at that match and I felt like they didn't let Keith Lee be Keith Lee enough in there. They could have gotten more over with the crowd. I know that the crowd in general liked it, but it's like, if you see him in other things, you can see him do a lot more incredible stuff. So it's almost like at like 50% Keith Lee. So let's wait until it's like 100% Keith Lee in front of a general audience.
And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, they're really.
It's kind of like the Viking Raiders or War Raiders. They're only like going at it 50%, but you put them at 100, people are gonna get behind them real quick. But yeah, and
there's the AAA Grand Championship.
And also some good news. Finally, Seth Rollins is going back as a heel. WWE's listening to the fans booing someone and turning him heel, it seems. After AOP attacked only Kevin Owens in their match, he gave him 2 curb stomps at the end. He ran down most of the Raw roster at the beginning of the show. So yeah, that's looking positive in that regard as well.
Did he break out his heel laugh?
And then
because no one could be cheered with a laugh like that.
Right. And then who is the and there's one more. There's one more piece of news we had.
The new title belts.
Yeah, that's the one. And now we're going back to a sad news story. This probably shouldn't be the story that's the final piece, but hey, whatever. The new what you saw what it looks like, correct?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the Fiend Universal Championship belt?
Understand some of the ideas he went for, but I felt that it didn't really do enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt if you really wanted to make it that way, you should have just had it look like me from Human Flesh. Because I mean, it feels like shocking what they're going for. Maybe kind of like designs, like you look at like the Necronomicon in Evil Dead, where it would have like faces and stuff on it.
Right.
They really could have just gone all out with it and made it look horrific in a horrific way, and not just horrific in a more tacky way that it kind of ends up looking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just have his face on there. It's like I said, I don't know, just comes off as tacky.
It looks very it's a complete paradox and doesn't make sense, but it actually looks really childish. It looks like a child made it.
Yeah, they could have even gone with that angle. They could have made it look like more of Firefly Funhouse.
There you go.
They could have made it actually look more like that, where it's like it does look like it as a child did in fact make it, but also like it maybe has like fur prints, and maybe like instead of just things of like wrestling maneuvers, it's just like drawings of the friends, like the Vulture and all, but then it has like look like blood stains on it, and like run that uncanny valley between like the cute innocent show to dark and mysterious. But like it didn't even really do that. It just really lacked creativity, I felt.
Yeah, it's all it is just the Fiend mask in the middle, stretched out, and with heel, hurt, and let in on it. It's, you don't even see him or me or anything like that. It's just let in.
It even felt like the face and stretch out could have been something like put it on like fish hooks or something. Like actually look like it's being stretched out like with hooks.
Right.
Kind of like Hellraiser style.
I was just about to say like
Yeah.
Pinhead, one of Pinhead's Cenobites.
Yeah, Cenobites.
But yeah, just it's not really for us at all.
So it's like a real miss, and I felt like it kind of goes into Uncanny Valley, where it's more tacky than scary. Maybe kind of like B-movie-ish almost.
Or even C-movie.
Yeah. But you know what definitely isn't C-movie? The price for it. Because if you want to have your own,
Yeah.
it's $6,000, over $6,000. And it'll be, I saw one person who put up his receipt for it, and it was over $7,000 when you combine like shipping and handling and taxes for it. So,
Yeah, that's just mental. We were talking about it. You can get like a nice car or a good vacation or propose to your girlfriend for that kind of money. What you can't do is have a girlfriend by spending $7,000 on a tacky looking belt.
Yeah, think about it. You can have like a 10 years worth of Taco Bell for 7,000.
Right.
You could, there's so many other things you can do. You know, the 7,000 thing, like you said, Disney World. You can even go to like Japan for
Right.
that amount of money. It's a really crazy amount to spend on one thing that I really don't even feel was that good and that worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess to each their own.
I guess, yeah, that's all we can say, really.
Yeah. Hopefully, he at least bought it during the Black Friday sale. Got a little bit off.
Right. If they even allowed that to be on sale. Just think, $7,000 is the price for after the Black Friday sale, and you're like, how much is it really then?
You know what they say: if you have to ask,
you can't afford it. Heck, I even know what it is. I can't afford that.
But yeah, very completely crazy amount for it.
Right.
So, I mean, the most I can say is like they also say that's handcrafted, so maybe it's just very high quality.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more so than theirs, and like maybe handcrafted in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very good design work, but it's like beyond that, I couldn't picture a reason to go for it. Maybe if it looked better, but even then, I'm not even sure. Like even if it went for like some of the ones I was saying, I don't think it would still be, $6,000 worth.
Right. I mean, the only thing that I think is worth anything close to that would be like AEW's belt or New Japan's belt or even the new Intercontinental belt, where it actually looks like it's proper gold or something, but definitely not just that.
And it's like the only thing you think maybe it would be worth it is if they also said that's a limited supply. Like,
oh, they did.
They did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
it's gonna be signed by the guy making it, and they're each gonna have their own number on it. It's gonna be very limited.
Does it say how much?
And it's a collector's item.
Like if I can say like
I think
30? Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, maybe I can just understand from collectors, but I'm still not really a collector, so it doesn't always faze me.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, people who collect football cards at work, and they're like, yeah, it's worth this amount. It's like, yeah, it's worth that amount because someone thinks it's worth that amount. It doesn't actually have an intrinsic value.
Yeah, the only things that I collect are the books I read or the games I play, things that I'll go back to because of the story. If it grasps me, But
things I wouldn't even say like real collection because it's just not in that route because you're not collecting in order to have, you're collecting in order because you want to use them and gain something from them. Like I have pops, but I don't collect pops. I just get ones I like. Like I'm not gonna get like all the Star Wars pops. I just have one. I'm not gonna even get like all the Batman pops. I got a few characters I like, and I may get a few more characters that I like, but it's not all.
Right.
I don't have a sense of need to have gotta catch them all,
Exactly.
Never dawned on me.
And then the same with me when it comes to like collector stuff. If there's like something cheap that I think looks cool or I like, I might get it and I'll have it. But I'm definitely not gonna pay buku amounts of money just to have something that's gonna stay in a box and never be like presented.
Now the one to make it more worth it is if it's also signed by Bray Wyatt, but in his own blood.
Well, let's hope he doesn't have HIV. Like Bob Orton.
we took his signature and we made clones. We now will have 100 Bray Wyatts.
Right.
Roaming the streets, looking for violence.
Oh man. But yeah, that was our news inside of the WWE. Now it's time to move on to the best segment of the week. It's where we talk about our favorite match or promo or vignette that happened in the past week, and I will let you start, my friend.
Are you gonna let me go first then?
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be challenging when I had Survivor Series, of course, last week. Thinking of there, I also think of this match here while watching between Kenny Omega and Jack Evans, but I mean, we haven't got to the ending just yet, so it's a little hard to, put down and say for certain. But with that, I'd probably say good ones to pick from. I'd maybe say that the triple threat from last week's Survivor Series between Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, and Roderick Strong. I thought it was fast-paced, entertaining, and guys who worked well with each other. How about you?
Mine is first. I'm going to give a few honorable mentions for myself. That is one. That was very close to being my match of the week, 100%. I really loved it. Apparently, a lot of people thought it was underwhelming. We had the very, very well, even though we noticed it in the crowd, we had the very, very well distinction of not having volume on. So we didn't hear the crickets, basically. We just watched the match and talked about it. So
we saw that the crowd was there, but I mean,
yeah, and that's because it's 3 heels, one of which is not a main roster member, despite what they want to say. One's NXT, and the other 2 are heels, so you can't really get that babyface feel in that moment. Regardless, it was a great match. Next is the women's, and a lot of people actually not liking it. I think Simon gave it a down, which is mental.
With that men's triple threat?
Because he thought it could have been so much better, but no. He gave that an up. It was Brian Zane. Brian Zane didn't care for it because the crowd took him out of it because they weren't. It was like, if you have to rely on the crowd, then that's ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
Cultaholic didn't really care for it, but at least Steven Larson loved it, which made me feel good. I absolutely loved it.
I felt like maybe you could have said it could have been more if it was in New Japan or in AEW. I mean, it definitely held back in WWE standards, but I mean, I think if you take that for what it is.
Yeah, I thought it was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
Also, honorable mention, the women's triple threat. Apparently, a lot of people didn't like it, except for I think Steven Larson and our boy Simon Miller. A lot of people just did not care for it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Not like amazing, but pretty good.
No, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. And then the other honorable mention is Adam Cole Bebe taking on Pete Dunne. I thought that was a really good match as well. However, my match of the week, or my favorite segment of the week, is this match right here. Kenny Omega taking on Jack Evans for the AAA World Championship. Grand Championship, and it's Spanish, so I'm pronouncing it horribly. I know I have to read it in order to actually say it correctly, but I absolutely loved this match when I saw it a couple nights ago. I thought they did a great job. So many good near falls, and it wasn't. And Kenny gave Jack Evans so much offense, and he didn't look weak. It was really, really good. I absolutely love this match. And when you said that this match was a contender, but you didn't get to see the finish yet, I was like, oh man, it feels good that you like it, because I wanted you to see this one and like it.
Yeah, it's good to see other people getting exposed to Jack Evans
Mm-hmm.
for AEW. A lot it will help the hybrid 2 get more traction. Because I felt like they haven't been getting a lot of traction as much as some of the other ones.
Right.
Even though they're quite skilled and have a great history when it comes to lucha style.
Mm-hmm.
I think when they get paired with like a Lucha Bros, who I'm sure they fought in AAA before,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would see it a lot more because it'll be like a legit Lucha Libre tag team matchup. And that's just something that's always a sight to behold, like you did when you watched that on MLW.
Yeah, that the trios match between El Gringo, Loco, the Puma King, and another guy in a mask. I forgot who that was. I do remember he was able to do a springboard with no hands, which made no sense.
Was that Aerostar?
No, it wasn't Aerostar.
Yeah, there was another match that Aerostar and we watched recently.
Yeah, he did the spring. Is it called a springboard?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. He flipped. He was only on his legs, and then he went back. My brain does not understand how that worked.
Not sure what you call it because normally it's just called a handspring. Right. They didn't do a handspring. So.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, what the heck?
When you see like a full-blown lucha Libre match, it's good. I think that's going to be a great match in the future for the tag team.
Yeah, 100%. And I really like Angelico, especially in his days as a trios champion in Lucha Underground. But anyways, this match was my favorite of the week. And how did you like that finish?
I thought it was a good finish.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the best segment of the week for us. The men's triple threat and Kenny Omega taking on Jack Evans. Alright, let's move on to something a little bit more dour, if that's how we're going to see it. And it is, are you serious? It's the fourth segment of the show, and it's where we either rant or praise something in the world of wrestling. I kind of want to rant about the WWE Universe again, because fans and fandom and people trying to take over the show of a wrestling show really just upsets me. I've been completely up for it about that. So when I heard that the crowd was saying boring in the women's triple threat, and how a bunch of the people were saying how they shouldn't have main evented, it wasn't main event worthy, it was boring, it was this, it was that, it just really upset me because that match was actually really good. And we watched the whole show live on camera, and you can check that video out, it's still on our channel. We watched it and we had a good time with it. We weren't. We spent the whole time watching Survivor Series and we didn't get tired. We didn't. Maybe that could have changed if we were there. I don't know. I doubt it because we have good stamina, I feel. But it was just really upsetting to hear that. And come on, WWE Universe, do better. You can't ask for more opportunities for the women and then just completely dump all over their opportunities when they're given to them or when they're given to you. It makes it's an oxymoron if I've ever heard of one. Because the match was actually really good. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't have to be. It was just a really good, entertaining match with a big win for Shayna Baszler and more story implications with her and Becky Lynch. So if you can't see that, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is, and it's really upsetting that you end up doing that. Your turn, my friend.
Mine's, I won't make it a criticism. I'll make it a praise for WWE. Since we've seen a lot of negative news stories with them. I would go and say I like the fact that they odd turning the losses from Raw into the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem as much like a necessity for SmackDown and all their losses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't seem to go with storyline wise, but if you make it for a catalyst for Seth Rollins' heel turn, at least it helps move things forward. And it makes more logical sense, you know, him being the head of Team Raw as a whole.
Well, apparently it actually did have implications. Hey, it's those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Pizza
in the
Party?
match. What are they called?
What, Injustice? Something like that? What are you talking about, a pizza party? They have a pizza party implication?
Oh no, SmackDown. Sasha Banks and Bayley basically did the exact same thing as Seth Rollins. And Sasha was like, "Yeah, I would have been. We would have actually won if I would have been able to pick my team." And then everyone's favorite babyface, Lacey Evans, comes out and punches Sasha Banks in the face and basically calls out Bayley for a championship match. Don't ask me when she turned face, but Lacey Evans is a face now.
Okay. But I'm saying, like, implications from last year.
Gotcha.
When they
yeah.
like, they don't have any wins, and it's like, it just kind of felt like that. And it's like, I don't know why you necessarily do this. Here it seems like you're building off on actual storylines from it and keeping things going with it, which is good overall.
Exactly, yeah. Who is he the champion of now?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not sure. But anyways, yes. So, starting off with it. Probably either triple threat or maybe they're just going to be along with the side.
We'll see. Those dudes are crazy too.
Yeah, I give a lot of props to the MLW guys. They all seem very hungry and willing to work hard to, you know, get their matches over. And they all seem very explosive and have the ability to allow their matches to get over. It doesn't look like there's a lot of commentary from producers backstage. It just kind of seems like they're able to go out there and do their stuff.
That's another praise that we can do for Are You Serious? Because MLW is doing a lot of good, and it's great to see that they're still able to keep going even with more and more competition arising. But you're finished and I'm finished.
Yeah.
It's time to move on to the El Gringo Loco and Zenshi.
And now Gringo Loco.
I don't know who Zenshi is because I don't think that was the dude.
No, it wasn't the dude from another time.
Because he looked like Ray, a taller version of a Ray.
A Rey Mysterio?
Yeah, I remember us saying that.
That would be like it's a taller version of a ray of light.
But we're moving on to Book It Yourself. It's where we take a segment or a wrestler or championship or whatever the crud, and we book what happens next. And we've done a lot of invasion angles. We've done a lot of tournaments, but we're gonna take a step back, and we are going to book the first up until not WrestleMania because that's super far. January one. What is it called again?
Royal Rumble.
Thank you. My brain just had a complete blank for a minute.
Lost the ability to remember your favorite one.
Exactly, and it's so sad. But yeah, we're going to go from now until the Royal Rumble for Seth Rollins' heel turn. Obviously, it's not complete yet, but it's just a matter of time. So I'll let you start it off.
Okay, so the first thing is first, instead of promos, Seth Rollins is just going to send tweets to the audience. Okay, but in all seriousness, I think he just has to bring a lot of his Twitter game into his promos. Maybe he talked about how his bank account's bigger than Kevin Owens and stuff like that. and just talking about how he's the top guy of the company, and like say a bunch of stuff that's definitely lies, like how all the eyes were on the company when he was champion, and stuff like that.
Just be completely and utterly
Obnoxious and
oblivious and stuff.
yeah. I think it's a good way to go with his heel character. And laughing a lot. He needs to laugh a lot. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good start. And it looks like AOP is getting involved with him. Would you actually have them join him soon or whatnot?
Yeah, I would think that'd be better security guard option than what is Joey Mercury and what was the other guy, Johnny Nitro. Yeah, better security because you get heel security.
Joey Mercury and
And that's J&J something.
Oh, crap. He's still working with them too. Not Joey Styles. Joey Mercury, and it's right there at the tip. It's like right there, and I'm not pulling it. But yeah, continue.
But anyways, yeah, I think you'd have a good security option and it gives them a new mouthpiece, which AOP needs. So.
Yeah.
And maybe have that be after a lot more attacks from Kevin Owens. So he's like, I need more backup. So it doesn't necessarily seem like as much of a heel thing. Because you can play it off as like self-defense.
Right, and at TLC, I will have to make it like pretty crazy. I will actually not have them be in a match. We're gonna slow burn it. So they don't get a match, and and Seth really wanted a match because of all the back and forth. And he's like, "Why am I not having a match on this night? Why are you taking me off?" It's like, "Well, you didn't perform on the at Survivor Series, and we don't think your money anymore. Bring in more and more." And when he's finally in the Royal Rumble, like he doesn't get like a real good meaty match until the Royal Rumble. Like, yeah, he has like a few matches on Raw here and there, but it's not until the Royal Rumble where he really just goes for it. And he gets and he's in the final four with Kevin Owens and two others, and Kevin Owens is the one who eliminates him. AOP come out, eliminates Kevin Owens, and the three of them just go to town. I think that would be, or maybe not the final four, but maybe within the final 8 at least. What do you think?
I mean, that sounds logical. That would be good. Good go.
Would you give him a match at TLC?
Maybe like a multi-man ladder match, perhaps. So that he doesn't have to like beat, doesn't have to beat Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens doesn't have to beat him, but they'll just like continue their rivalry by just both losing by focusing on each other.
Maybe for the United States Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's a lot better. Yeah. So and then in the Royal Rumble they eliminate each other, and it just really boils up to keep on going. I think that would be really, really cool. And if you played it right, you could bring it all the way to like Elimination Chamber, or bring it all the way to WrestleMania. Really, when would you end the feud to separate them?
I would say he should try to make you go all the way to WrestleMania if he can. Get going, for as long as possible. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. Really have like stakes involved. Like a number one contendership or something to that ilk. I think that would be really cool. What the heck was that? How was that even possible?
It's Lucha, don't question it.
It's so hard not to question these things.
You'll learn to not question.
Lucha?
Yeah. It's just like the school system. You'll learn to stop questioning.
But yeah, I think that's what it'll be. Number one contendership on the line at WrestleMania. Give this really some weight behind it. And I think that would be really cool. Anything else you can think?
No, I think that's good for what it is right now.
Alright, and that's how we would book Seth Rollins' heel turn from now until Royal Rumble and even to WrestleMania. Alright, let's get on to the penultimate segment of the show. It is, what do you think? It's where we ask a question to our fellow compadres and we ask them what they think, basically. Do you have a question?
Oh, before that, okay, I just want to see that. Long way coast to coast there.
That's even longer than a normal coast to coast.
Yes. And see, you didn't question it.
That is crazy.
You're learning.
I am learning.
Yeah. Okay, my question to you is, did we say we were watching MLW from this week?
We didn't mention this one yet.
Yeah, we were watching the Thanksgiving special of MLW from this past week of Thanksgiving. First match. So my question to you is, do you believe that Cody Rhodes' feuds in AEW are kind of going too quickly? Like, you think Sean Spears will last longer, but then it kind of ends and then it goes to, a next one to Chris Jericho, then
agree.
A next one to MJF.
I actually agree with that sentiment. I feel like his feuds are very rapid. They end out of nowhere.
After being beat up by Wardlow and MJF, he's it then goes to immediately.
Is this an elimination match?
Yeah, it must be. Then it goes to immediately being attacked by Butcher and Blade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless Butcher, Blade, and Bunny are a part of Wardlow and MJF, it makes no sense. They could have done that with Kenny after his match with Pac, but my thoughts are his feud with Inner Circle ended immediately after MJF booted him in the balls. And then his feud with Sean Spears ended immediately after he just got a win. And it almost looks like his feud with MJF ended 2 weeks after, which I don't think is the case, but it feels like that. So yeah, when it comes to feuds, they aren't actually building it very well, which is a shame. But yeah, that's all I can really say. I do think they're not doing a really good job with feuds. I mean, even in general, even the feuds with Kenny and Moxley feels like it ended immediately after their match. And feud with Pac and Hangman, I think that was the longest one, and even then it felt rushed. So I feel like their feuds are not only rushed but also ending prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do think that. What do you think on the group Injustice as a whole. I don't think I ever really got your thoughts on them before.
I like them. The good charisma as heels, and they're very athletic. Work well together as a team. Combo moves and cheatery and all. So I think they're a good like mid-tier heel team.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, it's time to move on to the final segment of the show, and it is the mailbag. It's where we take questions either from you directly or from the world everywhere in this wacky world of professional wrestling, and well, we answer them and we give you our takes. And one of the first ones that I recall hearing is what the heck? She just attacked the announcer or the interviewer. Is that one chick?
Yes.
The Spider Woman.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's called the spider claw. She kind of go like this, and then she webs in her mouth. That's what strangles them.
The webs.
Yeah. And then you punch their boobs.
But drat. Yeah. So back to my thoughts. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy in certain matches, but the question I saw a lot is, what were your actual thoughts on Survivor Series? After having a few days to think about it, I think what I said on our live stream was exactly what I think now. It was a great show. Very few faux pas, and that I thought, and it ended really, really well. What about yours?
I thought it had, a few hiccups, but mostly overall pretty good. Average to good to even great at times. So yeah, that's what I feel about it.
Yeah, so overall, we really enjoyed ourselves watching the show. And we were happy about it. But yeah, so any other questions you can think of?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, I think one really big one is about Shayna Baszler. There's speculation that she is going to move up sooner rather than later. Do you think she's ready for the main roster? Or the question is, do you think Shayna Baszler is ready for the main roster?
I believe she could do fine there. I don't know if it's gonna happen that soon. With now the contracts and all, I think they want to try to keep a name like Shayna with NXT on USA to try to keep ratings up. Yeah, I think they're gonna look a lot less at like moving people up, as you would say, because it's kind of just its own third brand now. So I think people are gonna stay a lot longer, unless they can ensure themselves that they get another woman to take her spot. Fame and attention wise. Do you think they have one?
Rhea Ripley. She's getting pushed to the moon to replace Shayna, I feel like. And with Rhea being that replacement, it looks like they could. But I would actually say keep her down for a little while, because she's been on top of the women's roster for so long. She needs at least one more like a mid-card feud, and that's just the way of wrestling. One minute you're at the top with the championship, 1 minute you're fighting King Baron and Rudolph. So,
You mean best tag team in the company, Rudolph?
yes, that is true. They
They earned
did
their
get.
spot.
Then they defeated an actual tag team, the Good Brothers, for it.
Yes. And all the other tag teams. The Good Brothers, the Bad Brothers, and the Ugly Brothers.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think she should wait a while because it is a lot. The schedule for main roster is still very much so a lot different than NXT roster members. So I think she isn't ready just yet. But hey, she can surprise us.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions today? And it's been, for the most part, it's been a pretty slow week.
Yeah, because of the holidays and all.
Mhm.
Not too much. Anything you have had?
No, not really. So you ready to sign out?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the show, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Please comment down below and let us know what your thoughts were on everything we discussed here today. After you do that, please give us all of those sexy, sexy likes.
And the unsexy ones.
Once you do that, please share this video and all of our videos to your friends.
And enemies.
I mean, you might as well, after doing all those things, please give us a subscribe so that way you're a part of the Smarky family. After that, go and ring the notification bell because
You want to get notified for when we go live for our podcast shooting with the Smarky family every Sunday, and also live for different live stream reactions from different pay-per-views. From WWE, AEW, and more.
Yeah, and then go on to the internets and follow me on Twitter at IsaJ_STP.
Follow me on Twitter at Liam_SWA.
Yes, and yeah, like he said, when you ring, you get notifications, especially when we do prediction picks for this championship right here. But quick before we go off, next week it is very likely that we will be going live for the podcast. We will give you any kind of notifications. If that does not happen, though, we'll tweet out or what we have to do to let you guys know. However, the week after that, it is highly likely that we will have to take a week off because I will be just getting back home from vacation. So yeah, next week we probably will, but we're going to keep y'all notified. If not, we're going to be taking 2 weeks off. However, it is also still possible that DJ might show up in 2 weeks to maybe do the podcast with Liam. We will, again, keep you updated. We'll let y'all know. But until then, and until next time, it will be awesome.
Okay, bye, everyone. Bye. Bye. See you.